I'm in a complex family situation and could use some judgment to ensure I'm not going crazy. I'm a 26-year-old woman who recently discovered that my great-aunt, a professional poker player, left me $700,000 in her will. This sum is just a portion of a much larger estate. However, there's a catch. My mom is against gambling of all kinds and is furious that the money comes from what she considers an unethical source. She's so against it that she's now saying I shouldn't accept the inheritance. Moreover, she's hinted that she believes the money should go to her instead, arguing that she can put it to better use and sanitize its origins by investing it in the family, which sounds like total BS, by the way. To give some more context, my mom is in her 50s and has always been vocal about disapproving of my aunt's job. She sees this inheritance as not just unearned but morally tainted. On my end, I see a chance to clear my student debt, secure a financial future, buy a house, and yes, help out my family, mom included, in significant ways. I've suggested compromises like donating a portion to charity, but my mom insists it's all or nothing. Either I refuse the entire inheritance or I'm acting against her wishes. It feels like a no-win situation where I'm being asked to choose between financial stability and my relationship with my mom, which is usually great. We're best friends and this is hurting me. So, am I the idiot for wanting to accept the inheritance despite how it was earned and my mom's strong feelings on the matter? I'm just saddened and worried about losing the relationship I have with my mom. She can put it to better use and sanitize its origins by investing in the family? This is the biggest pile of crap. Did she actually tell you this lie with a straight face? Come on, you don't see through her self-serving BS. Auntie left her nothing because she was rude and judgmental toward her. Mom gets a stick in the eye. Take the money and let your mom sermonize on read-only. Not the idiot, and consult a financial planner. If your mom is acting like this, you will probably have other family members coming out of the woodwork with their hands stuck out. Yeah. Oh wow. Never before in my life have I heard such self-serving drivel as what your mother is feeding you. I don't think this has anything to do with how your aunt earned the money. I believe that it has everything to do with your mother's greed. Be sure to save some for long-term use. Don't let her convince you to use it for her needs if you take possession of the money. OP, you are kidding, right? Take the inheritance. Your mom can sanitize the tainted money that wasn't even left to her. Your aunt wants to ask mommy's permission to accept the money, justify it to her, or compromise with some kind of donation. This should be the wake-up call that she doesn't have your best interests in mind, is gaslighting you to steal from you, and moms don't act like that. Anytime she tries to talk, just yell, "Jealous?" Keep that tainted money away from Saint Mama. Over the holidays, I, a nearly adult female, had the opportunity to go to the Caribbean with my neighbours as their nanny. My parents weren't thrilled, but it was after Christmas, so they let me go. The deal was pretty simple. It was 10 days at an all-inclusive resort. I would share a room with the kids and take care of them for 7 days and nights. In return, I got $500 and 3 days to myself. The rooms were adjoining. I think that's the right word. A door joined them. My parents insisted I get everything in writing so there were no mistakes. Basically, we agreed I would work 2 days and take 1 day off. Over and over. No problem, I thought, and I checked out the included activities and any excursions I might like. On my 3rd day off, I had planned to go scuba diving. I got up early and went on my excursion. When I returned, the parents were mad that I'd left without warning. I reminded them that we had a deal, and they said that they met another couple there and were going golfing, and that I screwed up their plans. I don't know why they made plans on one of my free days. They were upset all the way home. When we got back, they posted about how irresponsible I was. One of the other families called me to get my side of the story. I sent them a picture of the deal we agreed on. They said they knew I wouldn't do what I was being accused of. Then they started commenting on my neighbours' posts. My parents did this also, but I think everyone thought they were just protecting me. So now it's a big deal and everyone knows they tried to change our deal without talking to me. Some other babysitters or their parents are now saying that they won't babysit for my neighbours anymore. I feel bad about it because they paid a lot for my vacation, and if they'd asked, I probably would have switched my excursion to the last day. Anyway, they're upset that I knocked, which I didn't. They said I could have talked to them if I had a problem, but I'm not the one who made it public. Not the idiot. You made an agreement in writing which they insisted on. They wanted to renegotiate the terms of your agreement, so it's down to them to discuss that with you at an appropriate time, not on the day they wanted to switch. Even then, you would still have been completely within your rights to decline their request as per the original agreement. You did nothing wrong. You stuck to what was agreed upon. They then decided to defame you on social media over this. There's no other reason for them to make their annoyance public other than to shame you. Fortunately for you, it backfired on them, and now, as a consequence of their second mistake, they've gotten themselves blacklisted by other sitters. Do not feel bad for them. You reap what you sow, and they certainly have. This is not your responsibility in the slightest. I just hope you got your $500. They said that I could have talked to them if I had a problem. That ship sailed the second they posted their lies. Don't feel guilty. Too many deserving parents and kids need babysitters for these people to get good, hard-working babysitters. 7 days of babysitting costs more than $500. Those 3 days off are the rest of your payment. Recently, my family was invited to my brother's wedding. My brother and I, our daughter 21 and our son 18, and everyone except our younger son teen because it's a child-free wedding. I called my brother to confirm that my son wasn't invited because I've been to a child-free wedding before that's 13 plus or 16 plus, and my son won't behave badly or need such close supervision as a younger child would. My brother was very apologetic and said that he couldn't make exceptions to his rule, that some of his friends have much younger kids and that he didn't want to look like he was showing favoritism by allowing my teenager to come. That was fine by me. I understand child-free weddings. I had a child-free wedding before having kids. My brother has 2 children of his own from a previous marriage, teens, and 2 of my sister's kids are also under 18, young teen and mid-teen, and I assume none of them would be invited either. The wedding is in a different country and my family will be flying out for the weekend. My teen son is a bit sad about not being invited because he and my brother are close. I also don't want to leave him home alone for the weekend, so I've made a plan that on the night of the wedding, he and his cousin could hang out in the hotel, use the pool, get room service, and make a night out of it, and then the next day we could explore the city as a family, so my son doesn't feel sad about being left out. When I told my brother the plan, he thought it was a great idea, but when I told my sister, she was surprised and said her kids had been invited and that she didn't know it was child-free. 18 plus. She'd checked with my brother, who told her it was 13 plus, so my niece was invited. So we both called my brother, who admitted that my son is the only one under 18 in the immediate family who's not been invited, though he wouldn't say why despite my pushing him. My sister and I both decided not to attend as we're both angry with him, and she loves my son. My mother is calling us both up, saying we're being childish and letting my brother down. My brother's soon-to-be wife is also furious at us and says that my brother is distraught and that my son was excluded for a good reason. Once again, not saying the reason. My brother-in-law, sister's husband, is also upset and blaming me for my sister not going, and I'm starting to feel bad and wish I'd just let sleeping dogs lie. But am I the idiot? Lady, you are the idiot. Come on, tell us the reason he wasn't invited. I know you know it. We are a Christian family, my brother's soon-to-be wife being much more religious than the rest of us, though we all still go to church, except my son, who stopped being Christian a few years ago. I don't mind personally, but it's caused some discontentment. I'm not saying that this is the reason at all, just if I were guessing. Not the idiot. Don't use age as an excuse when it is his lack of faith in God. If the young teen is allowed to go, then the mid-teen should be if that is the child-free wedding you desire. If he wanted you there, he firstly could have told you the truth about why he isn't invited or grown a backbone to his new wife and invited him. Rereading, it looks like they never said it was he stopped going to church and they aren't telling you anything. I would still stay behind. But what's wrong with your mom? OP, good on you for protecting your son and your sister. Shame on your brother and your mother for not protecting him. Your son will always know his mother loves him for this kind of behavior, and his grandmother and uncle does not. Excluding him and lying about it is not love or Christian behavior. My young adult daughter died 13 years ago. We share a name as it's a family name. The tradition has always been that this is the name given to the first daughter of each generation for over 100 years. My mom, my daughter and I share this name. When my niece became pregnant 6 years ago, she asked if she had a girl and if she could use the name. Note that she didn't ask to use it as a tribute, She's been jealous of the tradition, not including her for as long as she's known of it. I said no, it would break my already broken soul to share her name with another family member. No one was happy that I selfishly said no, but nothing came of it since she had a boy. Fast forward to yesterday when my mother told me that my niece is again pregnant. This time it's a girl and she has already named her, insert dead daughter's family name here. My mom reminded her that it's her name too and she wants to pass it down. 1. It's my name as well. 2. It's still my daughter's name even though she's dead. 3. My daughter has a surviving sister who will never be able to name her potential future daughter in honor of her dead sister. I don't expect my mother, sister or niece to understand why I feel as I do, as they've never lost a child. That said, I don't think it's too hard to consider that if a grieving mother says you may not use her daughter's name, you probably should respect that and choose another name without question and certainly without guilt. It already tears the gaping hole in my soul wider open each time I hear a mother calling her daughter by what is also my daughter's name. But now my family is creating a lifelong, in-my-face agony that they could easily prevent, and they've done it knowingly. I feel utterly betrayed by my family, especially by my mother. She went behind my back, along with my niece and sister, knowing that I begged that my daughter's name not be used. When I came unglued on her yesterday, my mom told me that if my surviving daughter has a daughter in the future, she can use it too, having the same name's perfectly fine for 2 kids in one family. I'm floored. Am I the idiot for being so upset and saying no? Why? 2 cousins naming their kid the same thing is not a problem at all. Heck, for at least 18 years you had at least 3 people with that name in your family and it didn't cause any problems. It's a family name. Your daughter can name her kid after her sister and your niece can name her kid after her grandmother. Why are you saying no? Do you want to kill the tradition that has gone on for generations just because your late daughter isn't the one using it? Get over yourself. Your niece isn't jealous. You are. You don't want to allow other people their family history. You want to act like it belongs to you alone. Losing a child is unimaginable, and my heart breaks for you. But you are visiting misery on others for no good reason. You are the idiot. Yeah, you said just hearing the name kills you inside, but if the sister used the name later on somehow, that wouldn't kill you. It would only kill you if your niece used it. This is your name and your mother's name. You cannot argue you fall apart every time you hear this name. It's your damn name. Did you change your name after your daughter died? If not, drop this BS argument. Your daughter died 13 years ago. Calling yourself a grieving mother right now to guilt and bully your niece into making decisions about her child's name is inappropriate. The fact that you're using your daughter's death as a weapon and means to manipulate someone is inappropriate. Update: I've read all of the comments and the consensus is I'm definitely in the wrong. Honestly, after getting all of this feedback, I think I am the problem. I am wrong. And yes, I'll be talking long and hard with my therapist about this experience and how it's opened my eyes. Thank you. My 29 female sister Danny, 21, and I are not only sisters but best friends, and I've tried my best to look out for her. Our mom died 15 years ago and our dad is an idiot, so she went out on her own 2 years ago, and I don't have much contact with our family either. She told me the last week that she was pregnant. The only person who knows is me, her best friend, and her boyfriend Rick, 25. Rick is a well-mannered guy who seems to treat my sister well emotionally and is kind to her. Danny and Rick have been together for over a year and a half. Not long at all. They moved in together a few months ago and seem to have a good relationship, but like any couple, they have disagreements or times they get on each other's nerves. As I stated, my sister is only 21. She and her boyfriend both work and seem to be doing all right financially for 2 young people starting out in life. Definitely not for bringing a child into the mix. They both don't have college degrees, so their job income isn't the best, but it is quite above minimum wage, which surprised me when she started working at her job. I asked her how it happened, like if it was an accident or not, and she told me it wasn't on purpose, but there was no extensive protection. So basically trying, which is extremely irresponsible because A, they're not married, B, she's 21, and C, she has no savings. They live in a studio apartment. Danny smokes and drinks. So I told her, Danny, please rethink carrying on with your pregnancy. You guys aren't in the right place for this. You're too young. Have a lot of growing up to do, and it will not be ideal right now." She cried out of nowhere and told me that I was unsupportive and cold. But I was just looking out for my sister. I haven't spoken to her since she told me that day, but I'm debating stopping over and talking to her to be supportive. But I just can't. I don't support it, especially since it wasn't prevented. You are the idiot. You have no right to try to push your sister to end a pregnancy she doesn't want to end. If she did and you were being supportive, that would be a different story, but no one should push anyone to have an abortion. That is her body, and it will be her child, and you crossed a very hard line. If you want to continue a relationship with your sister, you will not just have to go over and support her, you will have to immediately apologize. Tons of people have children even younger than 21, and while you may not think she's ready, it's not your choice. This is a BS opinion. You don't really love someone if you don't remind them when they're heading down the wrong path. Loving someone is not enabling all their crappy decisions, and having a baby so young with no financial stability is a crappy decision. Just because plenty of people do it doesn't make it any less crappy. It's still the sister's choice, but love is not enabling and lying about the reality of her situation. I disagree. What does not being married and age have to do with raising a child? To be honest, you sound a bit of a snob and condescending talking about them not having college degrees and you're surprised about them having above minimum wage jobs. My God, just because your sister doesn't meet your strict criteria for being child ready, do you think she should put herself through the physical and emotional trauma of ending pregnancy? You couldn't be more unfeeling if you turned up at her door with a rusty coat hanger. Geez, what an awful, insulting, cold way to relay your unsolicited opinion.